What's good, people? Sam O'Reilly with the Fight Talk podcast in association with Round Date. Myself and Craig today are joined by Sniper the Boss, Lerrone Richards. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. Yourself?
Very good, man. It's hot, man. I haven't seen the sun for a long time. It's weird. I'm sitting here sweating. I'm used to the rain and that. It's a bit stressful. So I've got a beer in hand just to keep me cool. I don't think you have you? You ain't got a beer, have you?
No beer for me, no.
Craig, what are we drinking? Iron Brew, Craig?
I've literally got a fucking Iron Brew in my hand. I'm living the dream.
Stereotypical
yeah,
Scotsman.
I don't really like the sun, man. The sun freaks me out. I'm ginger, so whenever it raises its head, I need to crack open an umbrella. Just pray for the best.
Yeah, obviously, as we said before we came on, not a great deal happening. It feels weird. I don't like Saturday nights with no boxing.
It's rubbish, innit? You have to speak to your other half.
Well, yeah, I just went to sleep, but next week we got a card over in America. Julius Ndongo, Terence Crawford, and Britain's Dillian Whyte is going to be on there also. Craig, you probably know more about Dillian's opponent than me because I don't know him. Do you know anything about the geezer?
From what I've seen or from what I found out, he's only fought twice in the last decade. So take from that what you will. Malcolm Tan, decent enough record when you look at it on paper, but as we've seen time and time again, you know, we go to a lot of these small hall shows, people can build up records and never really step out of their comfort zone. So yeah, Malcolm Tan, definitely not the most active of heavyweights. Decent looking record, but you would imagine Dillian will just use that to shake off any rust and try and build a bigger fight.
Yeah, Lerrone, what do you think? What do you think about Dillian? Obviously, he's a guy. He's closing in on the world title fight, should we say? But what do you think of him as a fighter?
Do you know what I like about him anyway? Is like he's gritty, and I believe that he's prepared to do anything to get the victory. So I sort of like his sort of the aura about him and what he brings to the table. Like, I don't think he's the most skillful of heavyweights, and he's not one of the best, but definitely he's definitely an improving fighter, I would say, under the guidance of Mark Tibbs.
The thing with Dillian, there's not many fighters that, you know, you've got to manage your career and so on. Dillian would literally fight anyone. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I like that about him.
Yeah, that's a good quality, but he doesn't care, and he doesn't care, and you know that whoever he gets in with, whether it's Deontay Wilder, the biggest puncher, or as Joshua, you'd always give it his all, and you definitely push his skills out there, which I definitely respect that about him. So,
well, let me ask. Can I just ask you, Lerrone, as a fighter, mate? Does there come a point where that can act as a negative in terms of how you navigate your career? So it's all good for the fans when people want to fight everybody and anybody. But does there come a point where you have to navigate your career a little bit more intelligently and think, right, maybe I don't need to fight that guy right now, maybe I should go this way and then we can meet when it's a bigger fight? Or should that just be left completely to the managers and the promoters?
Well, I see where you're coming from. It's always a good sort of thing to be fearless and say you would fight anyone, but I think it doesn't help. I think it doesn't help at all when it comes to like the promotion and the management, because they're thinking, oh, you know what, we'll put him in with this guy, and they sort of forget. They sort of forget in a way. How can I explain it? Like, you see, for example, Joshua, he had a plan. They knew exactly what direction he was going in. Whereas, as for Dillian, I don't really see the direction he's going in. What governing body is he looking for? It's like he's got the WBC international title, but yeah, they're saying he might fight Deontay Wilder, but then they're talking about the WBA champion and the idea. So I think the more you speak and the more you shout off and you say, "Oh, you'll fight anyone," it kind of messes up your career, I feel.
Yeah, you're right. It has to be managed clearly, intelligently. There's fighters, just off the top of my head, Chris Eubank Jr. Now, I think he would probably fight anyone. You know, when that Golovkin thing happened and it fell through, I don't know if it was him not wanting to fight Golovkin. It was probably more, you know, his dad and the management of how that situation happened. So there may be a situation where fighters need to, you know, they need to trust, obviously, their manager, and it helps that Eubank's dad is, he's the guy. He's not going to trust anyone more in the world. But I do think fighters need to have their own responsibility in times where they go, you know what, that fight's not right for me, or you know what, that fight may be for less money, but I'll take it anyway because I feel it's the right time. So it's getting that happy medium of the fighter trusting his people, but also having a say in his own career.
I think you look at the example I would use from where maybe that warrior mentality hasn't worked so well is Ben Hall. Ben Hall wanted to take that Carson Jones fight, man, and he did not need that fight. He didn't need it, and what's he done since? I know he's over there and he's working with Abel Sanchez.
He's not anymore.
Okay, then
there's something happening there. There's something happening there. I've seen on his social media. You're right. It's a great example. I like Ben Hall. I think he's a good lad and he's a very good prospect. He didn't need the Carson Jones fight. You're right.
No.
There's something off a little bit there, isn't there? But I'm sure if he gets to grafting, I don't know what he's going to do now, because he was, we interviewed him. He was over with Abel Sanchez and it was amazing. Now he's back here training. I don't know who he's with. He said an announcement's coming soon. So you're right. It's crazy. That's November last year, and everything's fallen apart since that loss, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show the importance. So that's a very good example.
I think you have to realise as well that as much as your managers and your promoters are going to be handling you and going to be taking you in the direction they feel is best, they're getting a percentage. And a percentage of a small figure is less than a percentage of a big figure. So sometimes they're going to take these chances on you, I think. And I'm not saying Ben Hall was hung out to dry. I'm not. Ben's a good boy, and I think he'll come again. But sometimes I think they maybe take risks that they don't have to benefit themselves.
Yeah. Obviously, when that fight was matched up with Ben Hall and Carson Jones, I sort of thought it was a little bit too early for Ben. You can just look at the records when you see Carson Jones is like over 50 fights and Ben are just about hitting double figures. It's like, I thought at that particular stage it was just way too early, and I didn't understand why they took that fight. But it comes to that, it's the money. Obviously, it must be the money must have been good or something. But it's like from Southern area level to jump to that sort of level, it's a different ball game, which he found out, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's guys that I speak to on the small hall circuit, and they've been offered TV fights at short notice, and one or two of them take them, one or two of them don't. And off the top of my head, I'm thinking of a Raheem Noble. He took the fight with Tommy Coyle. He had more notice than it was announced. It was announced at I think a week's notice, but he had actually been given 3.5 weeks notice. Is that enough for the big opportunity when you're looking to make an impact on the big stage? I don't know. So it can backfire. It's a really difficult one to manage correctly.
But you know what, Sam? It's like when that fight was matched up, Raheem Noble and Tommy Coyle, I actually thought Raheem had a chance to win it. And I know Raheem personally, and he's always in the gym. He's always training.
Yeah.
So for him, 3 weeks notice, I wasn't really worried about it. But I definitely knew that. I thought he definitely had a chance of winning, and he showed that. I think for the fight, for the first couple rounds.
He broke Tommy Coyle's face at the end of the first round. He fractured his eye socket and bashed him up at the end of the first round. But I think that's a prime example. I think he openly admits. I spoke to him and Noel Callan, and they both said that the moment kind of got to them a little bit. They were getting cans of Coke and cans of juice thrown at them on the way to the ring. And it was just this mad atmosphere in Hull. And when he got in there, he had the first round, and it was a bit of a tear-up, and then he stopped moving his head. He didn't keep his chin out there, he wasn't really moving his head, and he got caught, and Tommy Coyle hits hard. So I don't think Raheem done himself an injustice on that night, though. I think that was a good example of taking a chance that probably works out okay.
Yeah, it was obviously a bad knockout.
Very bad.
Yeah. It was a bad one, but you have to take these opportunities. At the end of the day, it's different. There's someone that I know he hasn't been fighting for a little while. He's changed management and stuff lately, but he got offered. They offered to feed him to Josh Kelly as one of his early opponents, and he's a small hall fighter, and he was like, it just wasn't right for me. I haven't built myself up enough, and I don't want to just go to telly to get bashed up by Sky's new prospect. So yeah, it's definitely about managing it correctly.
It was interesting to hear Steve Goodwin talking last week on the New Age podcast, shout out every time, the 6th best listened to podcast on the globe.
That's crazy.
Officially.
Boxing podcast.
Yeah, boxing podcast, not just podcast. They aren't that good. Nah, I'm joking about it. But it was interesting to hear them talk to Steve Goodwin about feeding Lawrence Okoli, one of his boys, and he said, you know, he didn't really want to do it, and if he could go back and change his mind, he would go back and change his mind. But he said the young boy wanted it. He said, put me in. They knew they probably weren't going to win, but the allure of fighting on TV and fighting on Sky, and you know, it drags some people in. I think sometimes that's a bit dangerous as well. People need to be more aware, like that person you just spoke about, who was supposed to be getting matched up with Josh Kelly. They had the foresight to take a step back and say, that's not right for me right now, and I think people need to be more aware of that.
Yeah. There's, you know, you got someone like yourself, Lerrone. Have you been, obviously you're 8-0 now. When did you sign with Frank Warren? Had you had a couple of pros, or was it before that? At what stage did you sign with Frank?
I signed with Frank after 4 fights, so that was last year around September, October. I signed with Frank.
And so
last year,
you know, obviously your last fight I was at, we spoke. You were at MTK off television. Do you?
Yeah.
Does it? I think we spoke about this before, previously, you and I, anyway. But as a fighter, does it affect you personally whether you're fighting on telly or not, in regards to, you know, pressure wise, and does it give you an extra incentive on days that you may not want to train as hard and stuff? I'm just wondering, to get into the psyche of a guy that fights on television from, you know, quite an early stage in your career.
No, because you have to be professional, and you got to understand that whatever, whether it's on TV or whether it's not, you got to get the job done. And in boxing, if you don't win, you don't move forward. If you lose, you get pushed back, and that's what keeps me focused in the gym. Just knowing that I have to win, I have to put on a good performance. Obviously, I would like to be on TV. I would like to be on these big shows, but like, for me, it's not damaging right now to my career, I don't feel. So it's I'm just getting on with it, and I'm just putting my head down and just getting the job done in the ring when I have to. But some people could see things a little bit different. They could get a little bit down, think, oh look, they're not listening, no one's watching me, my profile's not getting any bigger. But everything's timing, and you just got to keep plugging away and keep learning in the gym, and hopefully you'll get that break on TV. So me, I'm in no rush. I'm just being patient, and I know my time will come.
Lerrone, who were you with before you signed with Frank, out of interest?
Oh, I wasn't with a promoter.
Okay.
I was with another manager, and I was out for 2 years. I had 4 fights with him, but I was out for 2 years. Just a contract dispute, so I was out for 2 years, and after the 2 years done, I ended up signing with Frank Warren. So since then, I've had 4 fights with Frank, and so everything's been going. I've been active. And I can't really complain of what's going on right now. Obviously, I'd like to be on TV more. I'd like my profile to grow, but like I said, I'm just going to be patient, keep plugging away, and then just keep getting the results I have to get.
You know, 2 years out the ring, do you think they made you a better fighter?
Do you know what, Sam? What it was like, I've always been quite skillful, and like, but when I turned pro, I believe I was young. I was very young, and I didn't have that strength, whereas now I've sort of grown more into a man, so it sort of made me a little bit more mature, and it was sort of like a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you. Like, I learned a lot, even in them 2 years I learned a lot. I was going to different trainers, learning, picking up bits and pieces, so yeah, it definitely made me a better fighter, and I matured as well, so I can't complain.
Yeah, you got someone like Mikey Garcia, obviously massively different stages, but he had 2.5 years out because of a contract dispute with Top Rank, I think it was, and you know, he came back and became a third. He won a world title in a third weight, and has now fought Broner at another weight. And he told me, he said, look, it helped me. I think you have to be a positive person when you get a time like that your career could possibly stagnate and go stale, but if you're still learning and still putting that work in, you're only going to improve in the long run.
It's true, but you know, as an amateur, like, I never missed a season since the age of, say, 13, so having bouts. I never ever missed a season. I was always active, and them 2 years that I had out was probably the first time I had time out from boxing. So I had a lot of time to reflect. a lot of things to learn. Just having more time to just rest my body, and it definitely helped me a lot. Definitely did.
Craig, I wanted to ask you, because we spoke about it briefly. British prospects in the country. If you were to pit, say 3 of Frank Warren's prospects against 3 of Eddie Hearn's, do you think? Am I the only one who thinks this would be a great idea?
What, the show?
Yeah, mate. You could do it as a show.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Because I think when you look at the like-for-like prospects, not a lot of them are at the same stage in their career.
Yeah, it's quite difficult.
Do you know what I mean? So you look at a guy like Dubois as a fucking monster, isn't he? How is he only 19, man? What?
Scary.
He's a specimen. So you look at him alongside somebody that Eddie's got, and Eddie's not really got a heavyweight at that stage. Everybody's a little bit further on.
Yeah.
And even the likes of Anthony Yard, who we look at as a prospect, there isn't really a light heavyweight that's at that stage. You could say Hosea Button, but Hosea Button seasoned and he was the British champion. He's not at the same stage, so it's hard to kind of match them up that way. But as an idea for a show, I think it'd be good, man. I think it'd be very interesting.
It's starting to annoy me that a lot of the fights we aren't seeing is because of promotional, maybe not disputes, but they just literally don't want to work together. It's easier for Eddie Hearn to put Anthony Crolla in with Ricky Burns when he could have gone the Terry Flanagan route. But he's like, I'll keep the money in my own stable rather than go and work with Frank. I don't know. What do you think, Lerrone? Do you think there is a case to say that more fights should be put together between these Eddie and Frank are the ones I'm talking about, because we're missing out on a lot of fights because of this?
I think I can't really blame the promoters. I think the boxers need to open their mouths. I think if you want to fight, you have to talk to your promoter. You have to tell the promoter that you want that fight. It's like if I got offered a big fight and it was on the Sky state or on Sky. If it's right financially for me and it's a fight that I can win, why can't I take that fight? Obviously, there's a lot of contracts. There's contracts involved where you could just be boxing on one platform, but I'm sure everyone's going to benefit out of it financially. So boxers need to open their mouth and say, look, I want that fight. I believe I can beat that guy. That's what I think.
I think the interesting, that's spot on. They obviously have to be telling the promoter. What was really interesting for me, Sam, and I'm going to try my best to talk in code so we don't fucking end up in a legal battle.
Not another one.
We went to, where did I go? I went to the Tommy Dove show, and I was talking to a cruiserweight who has signed. He's one of Eddie's cruiserweights, good fighter. And you, Sam, had seen text messages or communication back and forth where somebody was offering somebody a fight, and people were saying, "Oh, this cruiserweight that Eddie's got doesn't want it. He's scared. He doesn't want it." And when I spoke to him at the end of the event, we were having a chat and catching up, and I asked him, "Oh, do you fancy that?" And he said, "Yeah, but nobody's offered me it. Nobody wants to give me it, and blah blah blah." So it's very interesting because that the offer was made or the suggestion was made by someone to someone else, but he had heard nothing of it.
Yeah.
He heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much. I understand what Lerrone's saying about the fighters stepping up saying, "Give me that fight," but I wonder how much passes back and forward through email inboxes that fighters never hear about.
Yeah. Do you know there's an example of that? I saw it about half an hour ago. Similar situation, but it's one that I don't know personally, so I'll talk about it more freely. Simon, is it Simon Vallely, the cruiserweight? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now he's calling out Arfan Iqbal, wants to fight him. He said, "Let's get it made," and he tagged in everyone. And Steve Goodwin said, "Okay, I've sent an offer to your manager." And then another couple of days later, Vallely's tweeting again, "Oh, let's do this fight." And Goodwin said, "Listen, speak to your management because they haven't responded to my offer for the fight." So there's a very, fighters want fights, like you said, Lerrone. They have to be more vocal about it. But what do you do if their management or promoters aren't telling about the fights? Because that's obviously a possibility, and the fighter's in the dark. Then there's nothing he can possibly do.
And it kind of makes them look stupid a bit, because when I was talking to that cruiserweight, the matchroom cruiserweight. I'm talking to him thinking that he knows about that he knows that that communication's been made, and he doesn't know, so he starts talking about it like, yeah, he doesn't want to fight, he's scared, he's this, he's that, and I know that's bullshit. I know he's dying for the fight, the offer's been made for the fight, or the suggestion's been made for the fight, and no one's keeping him in the loop, and that's, there's a fine line between management and...
But that could be good management, because some managers won't let the fighter know, because we're fighters. If a fight gets offered to us, we're going to be like, yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah, that's true, mate.
Some managements are like, no, we'll not tell him and keep it quiet, because it's not the right fight for him at this moment in time. But then you get them bad managers that would let them fighters know the bad fights are taken, and they'll let them know the figures that they're getting, and then they're like, oh, you know what, this is the biggest payday of my life. And then they jump it, and then they put themselves in serious danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
There's two sides to it, isn't there? It's getting the happy medium. It's trusting who you're with. And, the guy obviously trusts the Matchroom stable to handle his fights correctly. Me, personally, I have another theory on why it wasn't told to him, but, that's by the by. There's a lot of shit that happens in boxing, a lot of politics. And I think now, with multiple big platforms involved in boxing, some fights that need to be built between their own stable, I'm trying to speak for, I'm trying to not put it out there, but if you're gonna build a fight between two of your own fighters, they need to be managed very correctly on the way up to make a big fight. And that's all I can say on it. Frank Warren stable, Lerrone, as you look through, you're part of, there's some very, very good prospects and guys that are making waves. Some have more hype than others. From a pure technical, boxing, who in your stable do you look at and think they're very good boxers and I think they can go a long way? If you take out, the hype and knock out people, really good boxers.
Is that prospects or just the stable?
Prospects, guys that you can see coming in the next few years that people may not be aware yet because they haven't got the hype around them.
Boxers. Ooh, that's a good one.
Doesn't have to be from Frank's stable, does it? We could do it from any British prospects coming through, I guess.
Yeah, you could do. What I'm trying to allude on is the hype follows certain people because they may be knockout specialists or they may be Olympians. But there's a lot of guys that are doing very good things that people may not be aware of yet because they haven't currently got that big hype around them. There's a few. I like Leon Woodstock.
Yeah, Leon Woodstock's one. Giselle for Barrett.
Yeah.
There's a couple small hall show fighters that I like as well, the way they box. I think he's a good ring fighter called something Adelphia, I think.
Linus Shadofia.
Linus Shadofia, yeah, he's a good boy.
I like him. I like his style. Who else is there?
There's a boy up north in Newcastle who I think will end up winning a British title called Jamie Humble.
Okay.
Really small, one of the really lighter weights, but I watched him in Newcastle and he's a switch hitter. Very, very skillful man. But he doesn't really have a big promotion. They've not really had a lot of shows up there. But I reckon he'll start making waves in the next couple of years.
Well, that's what I mean. How difficult is it for that's one thing I like about you, Lerrone. We'll speak about small hall shows for hours. We'll be on the phone for ages talking about these small hall guys. You pay close attention to these guys, but not all television platforms do. You look at someone like Asinia Byfield, for example, right? He's cut his teeth.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He's talking about switch hitters. Just while we talk about him, do you see he was sparring Gervonta Davis last week?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
How could you fucking miss it?
Mate, insane.
Yeah.
They wrote an article about it. They put it in the Sun. They made a video about it. Mickey Elliott made a 4-page status about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, listen, Mickey Elliott ain't got many very good fighters, so when he has one, he has to make sure he's doing all the promotion he can for the boys. So
yeah, fair play.
I ain't got a problem with that. But
I got a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, but someone like him, he went in on his first big platform show on Sky. On BT against Sammy McNess, and he dominated him, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he did. But do you know what? It's Arsenio Byfield. I think with that fight with Sam McNess, because obviously I've spoken to him about it, and I know he's a bit down about the fight, but that guy Sonya Byfield, he's not Southern area level. I think that guy definitely can fight for a British title. He's very, very difficult. He'd be awkward for anyone, I think. That guy. Be awkward for anybody. Anybody.
I had a conversation with someone about him fighting Ted Cheeseman. Everyone's like hyped up about Ted Cheeseman, rightfully so. He's always looked good.
Good
but
fight.
I think that's a good fight, man. These two is a good fight.
It's a good fight. I think he could pull up an upset. I know Ted Cheeseman for the amateurs, but I think Sonya could put a bias. You can definitely put an upset on that as well. You should definitely do it.
He moves really well, doesn't he? He's very, very good mover
very well.
laterally.
He's got decent power. He looks like a thinker in that ring as well. He's always thinking. He's a good fighter. And do you know what? When that fight was made with McNess, I looked at the fight and I was like, oh, that's a tough fight for a Southern area title.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very tough fight. It was very, very tough fight.
Yeah,
when I saw Sonya Byfield box, it's like he rose to the occasion.
Yes.
He didn't freeze, he just rose to the occasion.
Yeah, I secretly fancied him. Craig put it out there all over Twitter. He said, I'm calling Byfield to do a job on
I
McNess.
knew he'd win. I knew he'd win.
I think
when you see people, when you're sitting at ringside as we do, or even in a venue, and you see people, and then you look at who they're getting. I think that's poor matchmaking again. I think it's all Frank or whoever it was that made the fight, or even if it was Sammy that wanted the fight. All they need to do is sit and watch that. And like Lerrone just said, for someone who's relatively inexperienced like Sam McNess, who hopefully will come again, that's a fucking nightmare. That fight, that's an absolute nightmare. Because he's not really a slick mover. Do you know what I mean? McNess, he's a good fighter, but he's not made for that kind of opposition.
No. Do you know what? It's like, if you look at McNess as a fighter, you would say that, me personally, I would say that he's beyond, I think he's better than Southern area level. But what it was is that he was boxing a guy who was not Southern area level. He was boxing a guy who was experienced, and a guy you can say is probably English/British level. So McNess can come again, and I think Byfield can definitely push on and do bigger and better things.
If you Lerrone had to have your eye on a couple of people domestically at the moment at your level, who have you been looking at, and who do you think would be on the radar?
What, my weight or just...
Yeah, your weight.
Domestically, on my radar.
I'll
say that Mark Heffron.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
He's Mark Heffron. Who else?
Is he up with Ricky Hatton now?
David Brophy. Yeah, he's
Brophy.
with Ricky Hatton. Yeah, Brophy.
Yeah, Brophy. He's fighting for the British, right?
He's fighting for the British against Fielding.
Yeah.
Boxing Fielding. But Fielding's not really on my radar because I believe that if Fielding wins that British belt, if he wins that Commonwealth title, I think he'd move on. I don't see him defending that belt, to be quite honest. But if he does, then he'll be on my radar. But for now, no. Mark Heffron definitely won. And Brophy. There's Ryder there as well. John Ryder is about at super middleweight.
Yeah.
I like John Ryder. I wonder if John Ryder may turn into a bit of a gatekeeper, and I don't mean that as disrespectfully to him. Like I said, I like him, and he's always in tough fights. But he seems to have fallen short when he gets to that level, doesn't he? So I don't know. Does he have another crack at going for the British? You don't know what his intentions are now, but it's a difficult one.
I don't think John Ryder should have moved up. I don't think he should have moved up to super middleweight. He's not a super middleweight.
No, he's small.
He's a middleweight. He's too small.
Yeah.
He's way too small, and it showed it. You saw he looked like a dwarf compared to Fielding, didn't he? He looked tiny.
Still put on him though.
Still did.
He just put his head on Fielding's chest and just walked away the whole fight.
He did.
I think Fielding's like the luckiest. I hate that because when people listen to this building, I'm being disrespectful. But what I mean is, we had a kind of booming super middleweight division. It was stacked for a period of time. And then it seems like everybody's moved on at the same time. So everybody's moved up at the same time. Your Groves, the Gale, Callum Smith, the Eubanks on the scene, they're all at that world level. And it just left a hole in the British level. And then you had the prospects come through who are still building their name and establishing themselves. I think Fielding was the only one that was just there to pick up the pieces, if you like.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I don't think he's going to stick around at British level for too long. So that's why he's not on my radar, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just
We've
push on.
We've also got a shortage of middleweights. I was looking at the rankings earlier, and who do we really have middleweight? You had Martin Murray, who went up and then back down. We have a very big shortage of middleweights. You've got Billy Joe Saunders, world champion, but around there, I don't know who we really have. It's crazy how things move on. It was only 4 or 5 years ago we had the Darren Barkers, Macklin, Murray, Andy Lee, all sitting there, and there was some mega fights to be made. Didn't materialise, and now there's a shortage again.
It's true. We've got obviously Tommy Langford's the British champion, isn't he? So there's Langford. There's another boxer, Conrad Arnfield. Arnfield's one of them. He's definitely improving, isn't he? Arnfield. Yeah. And who else is there?
I've got the middleweight rankings up just now, and it's lacking. I mean, there's a lot of decent fighters in there, but it's lacking people that will push on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Brian Rose is up there.
Brian Rose
fourth or something.
Yeah. Brian Rose. I mean, do you know what I think? I think the middleweights and the super middleweights are going for a little bit of a transitional phase at British level, and I think the next sort of you, with yourself, and you've got Spider Richards at super middle and Linus, like you mentioned, at middle. It's just ready for a new age of guys to come in and make them divisions exciting again, and it's going to come. I honestly believe it's going to be pretty soon, but you guys just have to get those, like you say, get them learning fights and then build the way up. But there's some exciting fights at middle and super middle to come.
There is. Interesting to look at the middleweights on Box Rec in the UK. Brad Pauls is 31 in the UK.
Was he 6-0? Brad 7-0 maybe?
7-0 with 4 stoppages, I think. But I might be wrong.
I like Brad. Good man.
Yeah, I like Brad. And I'll tell you what, he's a very good talker.
Yeah.
Very good talker. He's got a lot of personality. He's funny. Talks about boxing sensibly. You could see him on a TV platform. 7-0 with 4 knockouts.
Yeah. So, Lerrone, as you look through, your own weight class, super middleweight, and we spoke at length the other day. Leon McKenzie. Leon McKenzie was due to fight Alan Higgins. That fight fell out, and he's now fighting Cello Renda.
Yeah.
Yourself personally, am I right in saying you were mandated to fight next for that title?
Yeah. So the winner of them two now has to fight me next. And
is that going to be your next fight?
Well, do you know what? I'm not too sure yet. Right now, I'm not really focusing on titles, but it should be my next fight. If not, it'll be the fight after my next. So, it's definitely should be my first title that I'll be going for.
Yeah.
Southern area.
So it's a strange one, Southern area, because I don't know. I'm undecided. We don't miss a Goodwin show. We sit at and he has a lot of Southern area title fights, and I'm undecided, me personally, from my own opinion, if the Southern area should be a stepping stone to English and British, or if it should be for guys that tend to fight around that level. The reason I say that, you've got Anthony Yard. He took Chris Hobbs, took his Southern area title off him. And it meant 0 to Anthony Yard. That's the truth. If we're being honest, that title meant absolutely nothing to him. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same for Daniel Dubois, who's going to beat AJ Carter for it in September.
Oh, it's a horrible fight.
That's going back to what we were talking about with management, and that it's bad management.
That's a dangerous day. I don't even want to watch it, man. I don't want to see it. I was there when he got knocked out off that Sokolowski, man, and it was brutal. Absolutely brutal. Sorry I interrupted you. Apologies.
So do you know what? I don't even think there's an answer. I'm just kind of babbling, but I still haven't worked out if I think it should be for guys on the way up or for guys that fight at Southern area type level. I don't know your opinions on it, Craig. What do you think?
How do you stop it? Do you know what I mean? How do you separate those two paths? It would be hard. Like I hear what you're saying, because people just pick them up and drop them. I think Chris Hobbs is fighting for it again, is he not?
It's actually not now. It's now going to be for an English eliminator, and due to politics, but it was going to be up until last week. So he was fighting Miles Shinkman.
He got put down 6 times and lost it, and then the guy who won it dropped it, and he was going to go back and fight for it again. So
That's what I mean. Do you get my point? That's why I can't work out if I like it or not.
But there must be a reason. I don't know whether it's just so people can say they've got title fights on their shows, or whether boxers are determined to go down a traditional route of picking up these belts. I don't know, man. I think it's always going to be hard to stop people fighting for the belt.
I think it's the fighter, because obviously when I win my Southern Area title, I'm not thinking, oh, it's a step up. I'm going to hold that belt with pride. And because there's fighters that go through a career and they don't ever win a belt. So it's about whether you want to appreciate the belt that you got. And me, like, I win the Southern Area title, I'm not going to vacate that title. I let everyone know that now. I'm not going to vacate that title unless there's a sort of a step up for me. But I'm not looking at the Southern Area as a sort of like a stepping stone and now I'm just going to drop it. That's not how I see things.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of fighters do look at things that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the individual, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But,
you know, we're talking about Eddie v Frank show.
Mhm.
How about Lerrone v Spider?
Oh, mate, too confusing. First of all, I get on really well with both guys, and I can't watch two guys called Richards fight. I mean, that would be just a nightmare.
One's called Spider, one's called Sniper.
Yeah.
There's too much similar.
I mean, imagine Spider had held on to that Southern Area rather than vacating it. It could have been a distinct possibility.
That's what. Yeah.
But listen, there's honest stuff. It could happen. It could happen for the British. It could happen. It could happen down the line, no doubt.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And that's, if you look at me in Spider, it's like, for Southern Area, it's not worth us fighting for a Southern Area title. We might as well wait and then we'll fight for something much bigger. So
yeah,
it's definitely fighting future, definitely.
At least you'll never have to row about who has the name first on the poster. But do you know what? We went talking about so much about British boxing. We didn't actually give any predictions for Ndongo and.
We never even spoke about the fight. Let's talk about Ndongo, Crawford, and then we'll just derail it and talk about British boxing.
You go first, Craig.
Well,
you
talk about, what's his name? Cleverly as well.
Oh, that's the week after. That's on Mayweather McGregor. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right. let's go in Ndongo Crawford. I think Crawford will win, but I watched highlight clips of Ndongo beating Burns last night, because I knew we'd be talking about it, and it's amazing how far away he can be, and he can still wing in those body shots. He's got arms like fucking Stretch Armstrong. Do you know what I mean? He's got these really long limbs, and he just wires in these body shots. And I think if he can stick to a game plan and somehow manage the distance for 12 rounds consecutively, he could pull off like a crazy upset. But I do think Crawford will probably take a few rounds to figure him out. What Crawford does really well, and he did it against Gamboa, he's done it a few times, is he adapts. So he might lose 3 or 4 rounds, but then he figures out how to fix it, and then he comes back decisively. And I think that's what he'll do. I could see Crawford stopping him late.
Crawford's one of my best fighters now, at this moment in time. I rate him very, very highly. He's like an old school fighter. That's why I like him.
Yeah.
So I think Crawford all day long, but I don't think it won't be an easy fight whatsoever.
He's so awkward, isn't he, Ndongo?
He is. He's really awkward. Do you know what? I can't sit and lie and say, oh, I've seen so much of Ndongo. Truth is, I did a bit of research on him before he fought Burns. You know, that's what I have to go on. What I researched before, and then the Burns fight where he outclassed Ricky 12 rounds to 0. You know, there was no doubt in my mind he won every second of every minute of every round. Terence Crawford is different, isn't he? He just seems to have really worked his way up to being this world champ, whereas Ndongo is kind of, I don't want to be, you know, he's getting this fight for all the belts, but he's kind of in the right place at the right time.
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know if I agree. I think that's a bit unfair.
He hasn't made a defence of a title, Craig. I can't see how he's now allowed to fight for the union.
Well, what I'm saying is, every time he's won a title, he's went into somebody else's backyard. Yeah. He doesn't have anything handed to him. He went to fight that Troyanovsky, and he was a massive underdog.
Wasn't that a freakish knockout though?
He fought him in Moscow. Yeah, he fucking iced him with a big left hook, I think. But he done it. He went over to Moscow in his back garden. He was supposed to cracked the guy right in the chin. Came over to Glasgow in front of a mad crowd, and again just absolutely schooled Ricky Burns, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being harsh. Do you know why? I'm thinking of someone like a Golovkin, who to get all the belts is having to have held his for God knows how long, how many fights. He's then having to go through tests like Canelo, and then at some point he's going to have to fight someone like Billy Joe Saunders to get all the belts. He will have earned it. If he ever gets all the belts, it would have been, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 fights later. And Ndongo's won by a freakishly good knockout and won beautifully, amazing against Ricky Burns. Can't take that away from him. But I just
That's not his fault, though.
No, I'm not saying it is. I just think
But
it's...
what I'm saying to you is if Danny Jacobs beat Golovkin, he would have held 3 out of the 4 belts, and he arguably wouldn't have had to do anything to get them. It's the way the portions are divided up. Crawford has the other 2 belts, the other 3 belts or whatever already, so it depends, like, he hasn't had to pick them up one by one, but that's because Crawford already owns them. It's just the way the belts are divvied up.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, for me, I just think Crawford deserves to be unified champion more than Ndongo for the fights he's been in, and I believe he's...
He won't be unified champion.
Well, what's the other belt?
He'd be undisputed, wouldn't he?
Undisputed.
Gentlemen, I hate to bring this up, but they're not fighting for the IBO.
Oh dear, I don't know. Lerrone probably doesn't know. Ed Levine, the president of the IBO, and Craig, they're like best friends. They speak every couple of days. How's the wife? How are the kids, Ed?
They're not fighting for the IBO. And when I was on the phone to my mate Ed last week, that's a true story. Actually, he thought it was going to be for the IBO, and he was really excited. And now they're refusing to pay the sanctioning fees.
Bad times.
So, what about... So, if Crawford wins, he doesn't become undisputed. It would just be... No, but he would though, because he's got all of the belts, all of the major titles.
Yeah.
He's being a cunt because he loves the IBO so much he believes that the IBO has to be involved in everything.
They love me. They love me, and I love them back.
They do love you. I think Terence Crawford wins it quite handily. A couple of rounds to figure him out. He's beautiful to watch for me, Terence Crawford. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's wicked. Yeah.
Cleverly Jack.
Oh.
Lerrone, you go first, mate. Run wild.
Lerrone, go for it.
I don't know. It's not a fight that I'm not really looking forward to it, to be quite honest. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think it's a sort of a cop out in a way. Like, Jack wants to become 2-weight world champion, so he's thinking, oh, you know what? Let's go for Nathan Cleverly. That's got the WBA regular title. It's just, for me, a bit of a sort of a cop out. But I'm going to watch it, but it doesn't interest me one bit.
How do you see the fight going?
I think it's going to be it'll be a very, very good fight. I think it'll just be action packed, and I think the fight will go on a split decision to one of them. I'm going to throw that out there. Split decision to either Jack or Cleverly. They're quite evenly matched.
Yeah, I don't think it's difficult when a guy's never fought at that weight before. You know, me personally, I'm sick of writing Badu Jack off. You know, I was convinced Groves would beat him. I was convinced De Gale would beat him, and he just kind of does everything really well, doesn't he? I don't know what he's.
He does.
I don't know what he's exceptional at. Is that being inside? I don't know.
His basics, his fundamentals are exceptional.
Yeah,
I think.
And
He's got good jab, good right hand. He's got good. His IQ in the ring is very, very good as well.
Yeah,
very good.
And there's nothing too eye-catching and flashy about him. He's he's good at his job, isn't he?
He's very good at his job, and I think Cleverly's got it all as well. I think Cleverly can fight, he can box, but he's a little bit more flashier than Jack. But it's a very, very good fight, and I think it's 50-50 fight. 50-50 fight.
Craig, who you calling?
Cleverly.
Convincingly?
Okay.
I think Cleverly wins. I think a lot of people are writing Cleverly off in this fight. When I've been on Twitter or whatever, I've seen people word for word saying Jack does a number on him, Jack steamrolls Cleverly, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, what are you basing that on? I don't understand what you're basing that on. Look at Cleverly's last couple of fights have been wars. You know, he's had a war with Fonfara, who's a big boy, and he was licking his lips and smiling and bringing him on, and he went through hell for 12 rounds, but he was still smiling and still had that output. I think that's the key. That's the key thing for me is output. I think Cleverly will throw 3 times as many shots as Jack. I think he moves quite well. He's got quick hands. Doesn't hit very hard. I can't see him stopping Badu Jack, but I could see him winning on points.
Yeah, Jack's got a good work rate as well, though. You know, I mean, he's got a very good engine and he works hard. Now, De Gale is, you know, renowned for taking rounds off and stuff, but I think against De Gale, he won a lot of his rounds by sheer engine and determination and work rate. So I don't know if Cleverly will throw a lot more than Jack. If Jack's gonna have to win, I don't know the reach and height and stuff off the top of my head, but I'd imagine Cleverly's gonna be bigger, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what I mean? So
I don't think he's. I don't think so. I don't think he's thicker. Do you know what I mean? I think he's probably top. I think he's a thicker man.
Yeah.
Jack is quite a big man though. The size of him compared to James De Gale, you can see it. It's clear to see, and I think in that ring on the night he will be much bigger than Cleverly.
Yeah. Well, Cleverly's fought Bellew twice, who's now a bona fide heavyweight apparently. So who knows? He's used to some strong men in there with him. I don't know. It's an interesting fight. How weird it took so long to officially get made. It's been spoke about for ages, and it was officially made 2 weeks before the fight. Weird.
I think they were just trying to underpay him, man. I think they were just throwing like shitty offers at it because they knew it was a big card.
Do we know who Gervonta's fighting yet? Ain't Gervonta on the bill?
Yeah. He's fighting. Shit, let me get the name.
And I like Gervonta. I like him a lot.
I rate him, man.
Yeah, he's good fighter. And another thing I'm going to throw out there, just going back to Cleverly, he's not been active for a few months now. So there is.
Yeah.
Jack has just boxed in more boxed in January, a few months still, but he's been more active than Cleverly.
You're right. When was that? Was it Bramer his last one, Clev, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was October last year.
Yeah.
That was a weird end in that fight.
Yeah.
Bramer just kind of got the fight punched out of him a little bit. I still thought he was in the fight, but then he just had some weird injury to his arm, and yeah, it was a bit strange.
Do we think Nathan Cleverly is an underachiever?
I think he's a massive hype job, and he always has been. And that's not a bad thing, because if you can go on and achieve and make money and do all the stuff you need to do to have a fulfilled career, then fair play. But I think Frank Warren always built him up, and then when you look back at his record and you look back on who he beat to win the title, he was given it, wasn't he, out of the ring? He won the interim title, and then he was given the full title.
Yeah.
And then when he was defending it, he was fighting guys like Tommy Carpentry and boys like that, and I don't know, man. I think he's done well, but I don't know how much of that's been a promotional push as opposed to.
I'll tell you what helped him as well. He came along when Calzaghe had finished, and he had the whole of Wales behind him. I remember years ago going to Wales, I think it's the Motorpoint Arena in Cardiff, to watch him defend his title against someone, and it just, the Welsh go fucking loopy for their fighters. They're very much like the Irish. They're unbelievable. So he had that sort of whole country behind him type thing that you need, you know, and he had that for a little while. So I don't know if he overachieved, underachieved. I think he's a very good fighter. He probably got what he deserved. World champion a couple of times. I hated the way that he lost to Kovalev. He just kind of bottled it, in my opinion. But yeah, he's achieved a lot.
He doesn't seem to hit hard. I think that's the biggest thing, because everything else is there, isn't it? Like the movement's there, the fitness is there. He throws nice combinations, nice fast punches. He moves well around the ring, but he just doesn't seem to. He doesn't seem to have that power that makes guys at the top level stop in their tracks and think, "Oh shit." When you see, even when he wins fights, people are still coming forward and they're not scared to take his shots. Fonfara didn't give a fuck. He was like, "Yep, let's go, man." Even Bremo's just coming forward all the time, and he might be getting picked off, but he doesn't seem to have that massive power.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis.
It's quite hard with Cleverly though, isn't it? It's like me. I always, like, when they mention world champions in the UK, I always think to myself, they hardly mention old Cleverly. Cleverly would always be at the bottom of the list. He's had a hard career, and he's done more than what a lot of people have done. He's won every title that you could win.
Yeah.
British, Commonwealth, European.
Yeah.
He's done everything the traditional way. He's been not two-weight, but he's been two-time world champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I think everyone needs to give him a little bit more credit. He's boxed in America, so he's now going to America. He's doing everything the hard way, just to get a little bit
Germany, boxed, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Moved up in weight to satisfy that rematch with Bellew, which he probably didn't have to do.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, mate. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Just to touch on Gervonta Davis, he's fighting a gentleman called Francisco Fonseca, who has a record of 19 wins, no defeats, and 3 draws. How'd you get 3 draws?
Ask Tom Stalker. Tom Stalker's got about fucking 11, and I don't know. He seemed to draw every fight he had for a little while.
Yeah. But this guy's got 13 knockouts on his record as well, so he seems to be able to bang a little bit.
Yeah, Gervonta's classy though. Gervonta's got this. I don't even know anything about the guy, I'll be honest, but Gervonta's he's just special to me. When you see what he did when he came over here with Walsh, I think he's amazing. I think he's got it.
Yeah, I think that Pedraza fight, because everyone said it was maybe too early for him and stuff like that, and you look at that fight and he looked tremendous. And I thought he was tired around round 6 or round 7. I thought he was getting tired. And then he just starts shaking his head and laughing and just bringing it on, man. He's classy and he's hungry. He comes from Baltimore, that rough background. It seems on his Instagram, people that he knows are dying all the time, which is a horrible situation. And he's just got that hunger, man. He's got that hunger.
Yeah. Let's sort of think about wrapping up. Lerrone, do you have an opinion? Well, you're going to have an opinion. Do you give a shit about Mayweather McGregor?
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm definitely going to watch the fight, 100%. I want to see what happens. I want to see how Floyd beats him. I want to see how Floyd adjusts. And I want to see how McGregor can... I want to see everything. I want to see how if McGregor can actually box, and at what level can McGregor box. It's a very intriguing fight. I do think Floyd's going to win, but I want to see how he wins.
Do you know they're currently doing their public workouts and stuff in Vegas, and I'm pretty sure people are stupid when they see Conor McGregor doing his his either warm ups or we all know he's a bit strange. He does things a little differently. He's all about the movement and freeing up your joints and all that stuff. And they're looking at it and they're basing his movement on. It's really strange. Oh, they're taking the piss out of him and stuff, but the truth is he's not a boxer, so he's going to have to make adjustments. But people are very ignorant to the sport of mixed martial arts, none more so than Bob Arum. Some of the things I've seen that man say about the sport are absolutely disgusting. Just because something's different doesn't always mean it's worse. I've been quite vocal. I'm a fan of both sports. And if Floyd Mayweather stepped into the cage, I can't imagine it lasting more than 20 seconds. Just because of the sheer nature of the sport. In boxing, Floyd Mayweather is, in my opinion, the best defensive boxer of my generation. And a man's going to walk into his ring who's never been in it before, and we're expected to believe that anything is going to happen other than brutality. I don't know. It's just, it's crazy to me that some people are actually think Conor's got a chance in this fight.
Prepare yourself, because I'm just about to come in and ruin my reputation in boxing.
Don't you do it? You're going to get the website closed down.
Right, here's my thing. Fuck Paulie Malignaggi, first of all.
Oh, he's a prick.
Paulie Malignaggi talked the biggest amount of shit about Conor McGregor, who said nothing about Paulie Malignaggi beforehand, by the way. Slagged him off with his glasses and his little Diamante earrings and literally ripped him to shreds. Last year it was unnecessary. Then he comes into the camp, doesn't shut up about how he gets into the camp. Oh man, yeah, I'm going to the camp, yeah, I'm going to help him. Expects that they're going to be mates in the camp. Whatever happens in sparring, happens in sparring. Pictures come out, that's not cool, I get that. Comes out, leaves the camp, storms out, blah blah blah. It was a push, he pushed me down, this happened, that happened, blah 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 blah. Then the videos get leaked. Again, probably not cool, but probably only because Paulie talks so much shit. And now Paulie Malignaggi's on Twitter like, yeah, I'll fight him in Ireland. I'll do this, I'll do that.
Poor Paulie.
Paulie Malignaggi, fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Poor
That's what
Paulie.
I'm going to do, Paulie Malignaggi. I'm just getting started. Look, see, Conor McGregor is going to surprise people. I'm not saying he's going to win. Let's clear that up before I go any further. I'm not saying he's going to win this fight. He's not going to come in here and get battered from pillar to post. When you see the size difference between the two of them, it's going to be insane. There'll be 20 pounds, 25 pounds between the two of them. Conor McGregor's head is enormous compared to Floyd Mayweather's head. He gets kicked in the head, he gets cracked in the head before those gloves. Doesn't get hit as hard as a boxing punch, I understand that. He moves a bit different, it's going to be ugly, it's going to look a little bit unusual. Boxing fans will think it's weird and it'll be like, oh, who is this guy, doesn't know what he's doing. It's not going to be, for the first 6 rounds, this is not going to be an easy fight. Mayweather won't know what's happening. And that doesn't mean it's going to look good, it doesn't mean it's going to be technically good, but it's going to be difficult to work out. I think people are giving McGregor zero credit. They're basing what they see in these little fucking drills where he's dancing about for the media and doing all these stupid uppercuts on the back foot for the media. Do you really think he's doing that because that's what he's going to do in fight? The guy's a master. He's a master of mind games. He's a master of self-promotion. To me, the impact that he's had on combat sports in 4 years. 4 years ago, he was on the dole. He was signing on 4 years ago. Yeah, and now he's the biggest name in combat sports. He's not an idiot. And I think this fight, I think he loses, right? I think he loses either late or on point. But it's not going to be... People saying he won't land a punch are wrong.
No, anyone who's saying he won't land a punch is stupid, I think. I know what you mean. I agree with you.
I'm done.
I'm out.
Yeah, it won't be easy, but
it'll be interesting.
Interesting to watch. Yeah,
I think
definitely interesting.
Craig touched on something which is a good point. Actually, you know, he only wants you to see what he wants you to see. He's not going to let you see. He's not going to show you his shadow boxing how a boxer would shadow box, because I'm pretty sure if he wanted to shadow box like a boxer, he could do it. Do you know what I mean? Something like shadow boxing for the media, and people are basing their opinions on how the fight is going to go, and that is unbelievable.
This is all of this stuff that's going on is exactly what he wants it to happen. It's exactly what he wants to happen.
Yeah.
You see him training for fights in MMA, and he adapts his style, and he brings in movement coaches, and even then it looks a bit weird. He goes out there and does the job, man, and he goes out there and does it under the biggest amount of pressure. The Jose Aldo fight, it's not boxing, but he was a big underdog against the pound for pound best, maybe in the history of the sport, undefeated in 10 years. Everyone was taking the piss out of him because he was dancing about on a tree with some movement coach. He went out, he read that punch, the left hook that Aldo tried to take, took that back step, timed it perfectly on the bottom of the chin, iced him, fucking iced him. So he knows what he's doing, but he's not a boxer.
Yeah.
Lerrone, let me ask you, do you watch MMA and UFC?
No.
Zero interest in it.
You know what? I only watch it if it's a big fight. So if McGregor's on, I'll watch him. If that was it, Ronda Rousey's on, I'd watch her. So it's only if it's a big fight.
You not watch John Jones?
John Jones. I watched the other day. Yeah, John Jones beating that Cormier.
Yeah.
I watched that. Yeah. If it's a big fight, I'd definitely watch it, and I like it. I do watch it. Well, I do like it, and I do enjoy watching it. I just prefer boxing.
You're probably the definition of a casual when it comes to MMA. Yeah, listen, I don't know. I have no problem with people that don't watch the sport. I have a problem when people are so ignorant about a sport they don't watch. That's what I don't like. People just, and they roll around. And Adrian Martin did the prediction video with us for this, and obviously he's I thought he 5-0, 6-0 now, Adrian, and he said some things 5-0, and he said some things that were a little bit out there, and you don't have to agree with the sport and stuff, but I guess until you've competed in it, you probably shouldn't be as adamant as he was about certain things, MMA fight.
If Adrian Martin wants to fight me in an MMA fight, we can do that whenever he wants. We can set it up.
You did tell him that.
Adrian, we can sort it out whenever you want, man. Listen, it's hard for me because obviously we run the website and it's purely boxing. And
you're a black belt in judo. So
yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's not just that. I did it about MMA. I did it about boxing. I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, all that rolling around stuff that people say, and you're rolling around in your pajamas and all that sort of stuff people say. Listen, man, if anybody anybody wants to borrow a pair of pajamas, we can roll about. Anybody, no problem. If you want to learn a little thing or two, we can do that. But all that stuff's irrelevant because it's a boxing match. So it doesn't matter. Or, there's so many disciplines that you have to take into account. But in this instance, they all go out the window. Really, it's a purely boxing.
Yeah, it's a purely boxing match that it's going to take in more money than any event in our lifetime. I'd probably guess. I can't imagine there'll be another fight in the next, 40 years that will get as much attention as this.
Lerrone v Spider.
Only if they do it in a cage.
Can you imagine that?
Listen, it's going to get the eyes of the world on it, isn't it? But Floyd Mayweather did an interview yesterday. Said he's going to step forward. He's going to stand in the middle of the ring, and if I have to get dropped down, I'm happy to do it. Like, what? Why are you lying for?
It's all hype, isn't it? It's all hype. Even the press conference and all that, I think it was all false. I think it was fake. It was all act. I just didn't believe a word they were saying, and it gets people in. It was like WWE to me. Like, just watching.
Yeah.
The only thing real about this is going to be the fight, and just can't wait to see it and just see exactly what happens.
Decent card that as well. Sean Porter fighting Lerrone. Andrew Tabiti, that monster. He's fighting as well.
Cunningham, isn't he? Cunningham.
Yeah.
Steve Cunningham.
Yeah.
Steve Cunningham's still going.
Yeah, he's back.
Cool.
And you got Javonta, you got Jack Cleverly, and then you got the main event. It's a good card.
Yeah.
Good question as well, because I know Savannah Marshall's boxing on that show as well.
She is, yeah.
But how do you feel about boxers fighting each other on their debut?
Two debuts fighting?
Savannah Marshall's boxing someone on her debut as well.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It depends.
I don't mind it because I'm kind of big on. Like, I understand you have to have a learning. You have to learn bits and pieces when you're coming up, and you get a few fights that you're expected to win. But for me, when you look back at a guy like B-Hop, who lost his debut, you look back at Johnny Nelson, who became the longest reigning world champion in history of WBO. He lost his first 3 fights in a row on the bounce. So Kevin Farmer lost 4 of his first 12 or something like that. I don't mind that, because if one of them takes a loss in your debut, you can build from that and you can come back. So I don't mind it.
Do you know what you have to look at as well, though? The professional women's pool of boxers is very slim, and I believe Savannah's a middleweight, is she? So there's probably 4 fighters in the world she can fight. So they just have to get 1 or 2 more to turn pro to fight her, because it's very, very slim pickings, man. She's.
I actually looked up the rankings because I was writing an interview with that Christina Hammer, who is gorgeous, man. But I wrote an interview with her, and I was looking at the rankings for the interview, and the woman who's ranked 18th in the world at that weight class has a record of 0-1.
Well, there you go. So if you're a middleweight woman, just turn pro and you literally turn into the top 20 without fighting or losing.
0-1. Unbelievable.
Well, listen, we've been on for well over an hour. We should probably slow it down. Lerrone, pleasure having you on, mate. When can we realistically see you out? When do you think? I know you've got a couple of things to iron out. When do you think we'll see you in there?
September, late September, maybe. Yeah, late September. September the 30th, I've been told, but I'm not too sure. I'm just waiting, really. I should find out tomorrow exactly what date. Because we're sort of a bit of a weird situation, whereas Alan Higgins pulled out and all that. I thought maybe I could have got my shot at the Southern Area title then, but things happen, and you know how boxing is, and so obviously now Mackenzie's fighting Chelo Render for it. So for that title, I'm just gonna have to wait. So we'll have to see whether I move on to a different title or just have another keep busy fight.
Okay, great. Well, listen, pleasure having you. You're a guy that I think very, very highly of. I think you're a good person. I get on me very well, but as a fighter, I don't think we'll see many guys that can do the things you can do. And I think as you see you in bigger and better fights, the skills are really going to start to show. It's all about the skills.
That's it, man. It's all about the skills, man. And that's it. And the skills pay the bills. That's it.
Thank you, mate.
Alright, cheers, Craig. Nice speaking to you, mate.
Bye, mate. Alright, we've got a very angry substitute. Kevin has come in for Lerrone Richards. Very angry that he wasn't told prior to that we're going to do a podcast when there's no boxing on. He's not happy.
Kevin, are you with us?
I am with you now, yeah. I just had to send the kids into McDonald's, so I'm missing out on a McFlurry for this, so I'm not best pleased, lads, I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, you know, I usually get my pre-warning where I'm all prepared for this, so
Well, what
are we chatting about?
I don't know, really.
I want to talk about my feelings. No, I want to talk about Anthony Crawler, Ricky Burns. Kev,
So Anthony Crawler and Burns.
what do you make of that fight?
Do you know what? I make it a good domestic dust-up. I'm probably going to get absolutely abused for calling it a domestic. I don't know. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think they're both coming towards the end. So it's a good payday for both of them. I think it's going to sell out, isn't it? It's going to sell out an arena. It's going to. I don't know if it's not pay-per-view, is it?
No. It's just
Which is good. You know, you're going to get loads of people watching it. So I think it's good for both of them. I think the loser retires. I think that's just, you know, they were talking about it being a crossroads fight. I think the loser has to retire.
I don't think Burns will retire, man.
Burns should have retired about 4 years ago. Then all of a sudden he got a second win and come back, didn't he? So
he's quite vocal. He's always quite vocal about not wanting to retire just because he's lost a big fight or whatever. He said he's happy to fight at domestic level just because he loves boxing. So it'll be interesting to see if he does retire, if he loses.
yeah, well, he sort of, it was getting to that stage where he lost a couple one after another, wasn't it? And they were saying, oh, he needs to retire. And then he just literally, I think he went back a step, come forward and won another world title. So, you know, I think he's got it in his locker, hasn't he, to keep bouncing back. But I don't know. I think I can't see where Crawler goes if he loses. That's for sure. And I just think that this late in Ricky Burns' career, I think it's getting to the stage where he probably needs to for his own health.
Yeah.
You're a proud Scotsman. You tell me, Craig. Am I wrong in saying it would have been nice to see Burns face Josh Taylor up in Scotland and pass the mantle of the best Scottish boxer on? Because that would have been a good fight. Would have done a lot. It would have done a lot for Josh Taylor to have a Ricky Burns on his record. I just personally think Ricky Burns losing to Josh Taylor does more for Scottish boxing. Do you know what I mean? Do you get where I'm coming from? I just think it would have been.
I think do you know what I think that could be? Do you know what I think the reason for that is? That it's not happening.
What?
I think he probably doesn't want to have to deal with the McGuigans after the Josh Taylor Davies fight yet. I think he probably wants to let that lie a little bit, and then I think it'll be interesting to see if they try and make it after that. Because I think they'll feel that they call the shots, and they'll feel that they've got the A side in those negotiations, and blah 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 blah. And I think maybe that's got something to do with it. But I don't know. That's just me speculating. It would be a good fight. I think Josh Taylor stalks Ricky Burns. Josh Taylor's a special talent. But I love Ricky Burns. You know, I was there when he won 2 of his 3 world titles. He's a nice guy. Still very fit. Still in great shape. But I don't know. I just don't know how I feel this fight's going to go.
What more is there to achieve? Why still why carry on? That's the hard bit.
The biggest thing for me is Burns never uses his jab as much as he should for me because he's so long. And every time I watch him, especially when he fought guys like Kirill Relic and Paulus Moses and stuff like that, all you want him to do is just use the jab, stick on the end of the jab because he's longer than everybody he fights, apart from Ndongo. But yeah, I don't know, he seems out of sorts. He only ever really throws a 1-2 now. You know, that he throws that lazy jab and then a straight right, and that's pretty much about everything he does. So I think Crawler will probably win, to be honest.
I agree with what you said earlier there, Craig. Actually, I don't think he wants to jump in and lose again, and I think he feels that against Josh Taylor. I think against Crawler, I think he's got a bit of confidence. I think he thinks, and I think it's a 50-50. I think Burns wins. You know that. I think Burns wins. I think Burns wins, and I think it sets up a great fight for Josh Taylor then. But I think Burns wins just on just his movement and the way he boxes. He's a pressure fighter, isn't he, Burns? And I don't think Crawler is a massive puncher. I think that's the problem. I don't think Crawler hits hard enough to stop him in his tracks. And I think he comes forward, and I think he wins the fight on points. That's what I see.
Never been stopped. That Ricky Burns either never been stopped. And when you look at who he's lost against, he's only lost against elite guys since he's been at that level.
On paper, he's lost to Relic. He lost to Relic, and he was got one or two. He did, mate. Come on, he got.
No, he didn't.
Listen, the fighters he's lost to have been big punchers that have dropped him during the fight. So I don't see Crawler as a big puncher. That's why I give him a really good chance to upset and win this fight. And if he does win it puts him straight back up to actually negotiate in the Josh Taylor fight. I agree with you. You know, the McGuigans would literally ruin him and probably make him fight for 50p. Do you know what I mean? But this way, at least he goes in with a win against a good name, and then he can actually negotiate and get a good bit of earn out of it. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what the deciding factor is in this fight. You know, you look at fights and look at styles and etc. etc. I don't know what separates these two guys. They both have very good work rate. They're both very good at everything, but there's no stand. You can't say, "Oh, well, he's a bigger puncher." Who knows who the puncher is in this fight?
Yeah,
it's a difficult.
I think they've got drastically different approaches. Like Crawler's an inside fighter. He works inside to the body a lot. He likes to be in close. And I think Burns is the opposite. Burns likes to box at range. He'll happily take a few steps back if you're on the end of his jab. So I don't know. I think they're quite different in that respect. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what the deciding factor will be. I know you say he stays on the outside more, Ricky. I know what you mean. It's a tough fight.
Yeah, attributes wise, it's pretty even. Though I hear you.
I don't know.
I think Ricky Burns can hurt him. I'm not sure he can hurt Ricky Burns. I think that's where it comes down to for me, and that's why, you know, and I like Crawler. I think Crawler's a great boxer. I think he's a really nice lad as well. But I think Ricky Burns, I think just edges it on the power, and I don't know how after fighting Lerrone twice, I don't know how you know, sometimes your punch resistance goes, and I think the amount of punishment he took, I think it'll be interesting to see whether he can still take a good dig, you know. But yeah, it's an interesting fight. That's why it's a 50-50, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good fight. Who else on that card? Eggington.
Don't know who he's fighting.
He's defending his European against the mandatory. Josh Kelly's back. the best looking prospect in British boxing. Josh Kelly's back. Interested to see.
Buatsi? Is Buatsi going to be on that, or have I made that up?
Buatsi is fighting on that card.
Yeah, he's fighting on that card.
I believe. No, I'm talking shit. Ignore me.
All right. So he's fighting on the Next Gen show, the 1st of September.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Buatsi is fighting on the Next Gen show on the 1st of September in his second fight against a guy who beat the guy that the yard just beat. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense?
I don't know what you just said.
Someone's dog walker who's married to
someone's cousin's mate.
Andy Yard beat the guy for the WBO European, didn't he?
Baranyi.
Apparently the guy Buatsi's fighting, his second fight, beat that Baranyi.
What, in the amateurs?
I don't know.
What a shit fact. Oh, dear.
They're going to wear gloves as well.
Okay, and they're going to do this in a ring, you say? Alright, well, let's leave Kevin to go and get a McFlurry before he fucking throws another hissy fit.
Spontaneously combusts. What he doesn't know is we recorded.
I've been standing outside here so long, mate. I might even get a Big Mac now. I'm starving.
Any excuse.
Other fast food restaurants are available. Thanks for coming on, Kev. Been wonderful. I won't mention that West Ham got absolutely bullied today. Craig, thanks for having us on. Coming on, rather. We had Lerrone Richards earlier, top man. This has been the Fight Talk podcast.